Welcome back to Kevin's Whole Reads. I'm shaking my head, not at you. Let me digress for just a second before I get into this book haul. But I live in a smaller community. Some of you may as well. Do you ever feel like there's like that one stoplight that always turns red as you're approaching or you're in a hurry? I swear, every time I get set up, I press record, that stinking train starts every time. So, yeah, there's that. But let's dive right in and talk about this book haul, because that's why you're there, not hear me venting about trains and train horns. And so I have a book haul. Imagine that. I spent $40 on 17 books. Now, with that being said, as you probably saw from a previous couple weeks ago, I mentioned in my weekly wrap-up that I picked up this edition of the Pulps for $10. And so that's part of this $40. That was my most expensive book. Taking all that into consideration, it's like $2.35 a book. So it's still a really good deal. If I take this book out of the equation, it's 16 books at $30, which is like $1.80, so 88 cents a book. Really good deal. And so, yeah, I got a lot of Mac Bolan. I got quite a few Mac Bolans here. So let's go through these. Yeah. Mac Bolan Executioner 228, Terminal Option. Yes. This is one of the, I guess, newer. I don't like these covers as much as I like the old school ones. And then I have Don Pendleton's Mac Bolan Stolen Arrows. This is one of the Super Bolans. One of the cool things about this one is it has the BRM stuff in here, and I found this was really interesting. You have a scratch off from Vegas to win free books. And I mentioned that because there's a couple others on here as well. This one had the terminal option, had this peel off. I peeled it, and you put it on here to try to make 3 cherries for free books. It's so old. When I started scratching it, I have this huge dollar I was using to scratch it. It was like taking all of the underside of the sticker with it, and so it wasn't even working as a scratch off. But I can see that it is a cherry. So I would have won 4 free books. And I say that because in this one, Lethal Agent, which is Executioner 182. Again, I'm not a huge fan of this cover here. But it also has a BRM that I played. This one was, I had the Ace of Spades here. This is a poker hand to win 4 free books, which I put the Ace of Spades here. And so depending on your hand, it tells you what you win. And so if you have the 4 aces and the king, which is what I have, you send this in and you get 4 free books. And then you get, if you had a full house, you get 3. And then if you've had 3 of a kind, you get 2. I'm tempted to tear this out and send it in just to see what happened. I mean, this is copyrighted. What is the copyright on this thing? 1994. So it's like 31 years ago. I wonder if they still have the books laying around like in storage and they're like, hey, someone sent us the Gold Eagle thing, I'm just curious. I mean, it's postage paid. So I could send it in, see what happens. I'm going to do it. So let's get into the covers I actually like, because I got some more Mac Bolan here. Executioner 34, Terrible Tuesday. Yeah, really cool cover. For my Canadian friends, we have Executioner 24, Canadian Crisis. Bing Lam would like that. I don't know if Elaine from Cobalt Dragon would see this as well, but yeah. Number 26, Executioner 26, Acapulco Rampage. You gotta love, shooting at helicopters while you're in a speedboat with a girl. Executioner 38, Satan's Sabbath. Interesting title. Executioner 28, Savage Fire. You gotta love when you're blowing up people, shooting people, and you have a dame over your shoulders, and you have this cool knife. Fun fact, when I was probably 10 or 11, Rambo was out and came out in movie theaters, and I had that knife that had the compass on the top, like the big Bowie knife, like Rambo had, that you could mail in the BRM and get for like $16 or something. And inside the handle, the compass would screw off the top, and inside the handle, you had all these little cool tools. And it came with this cheap like scabbard that you could put on your belt. I thought I was the coolest thing in the world, but it was hardly even sharp, to be honest with you. But it came with this little bitty kind of rectangle sharpening stone, but it had this like 8-inch blade. Yeah, I thought it was cool. Executioner number 17, Jersey Guns. Executioner number 29, Command Strike. You got to love when you're outside a window looking in on a board meeting with guns, start shooting people. Yeah, got to love it. And then the last one, Executioner number 33, Monday's Mob. I am a sucker for anyone that shoots a bazooka, similar to like Dwight Schrute. But yeah, that's a really cool cover. I really like these covers the best. And so yeah, I got 11 more Mac Bolins for my collection. That brings me up. Even though I only read the first one, I got number 2 on my TBR of Mac Bolin. But I have 30 Mac Bolins now, I think. I have about 5 or 6 Super Bolins, and then I have like 25 of the original Executioner novels, and I'm trying to get a lot of them within the first like 35 to 40, 1 through 40, somewhere in there, because I believe that's the only ones that Pendleton actually wrote, and then they were written by others. But yeah, really cool. So let's talk about some other books I got as well. I found this, picked it up. It is an Elmore Leonard, almost brand new, and it is a dual book. There's 2 books here. There's Gun Sights and 40 Lashes Less 1, 2 Westerns. I have 40 Lashes Less 1 already, but I went and grabbed it because it was such a steal because I didn't have Gun Sights. So yeah, I picked that up. I recently picked up some Dashiell Hammett, and I picked up The Dane Curse in this nice trade paperback. It's a really beautiful book that I got for next to nothing. So I picked it up. I picked up 2 Michael Connelly. So I have a Lincoln Lawyer novel, The Fifth Witness, which is part of the Harry Bosch universe. And I have an actual Harry Bosch novel, The Wrong Side of Goodbye. And then I picked up, and this is incredible score for what I got, for what I paid for it, but it is a Penguins classic of G.K. Chesterton. It is the complete Father Brown stories. So it's really fantastic. 800 pages in great condition. But yeah, if you flip through the contents here, you have all of the main books that have the individual stories within them. So you got The Innocence, The Wisdom, The Incredulity, The Secret of Father Brown, The Scandal of Father Brown, The Donington Affair, The Vampire of the Village, The Mask of Midas, and all the individual tales of Father Brown. So I'm really interested in this. I think Pete at Bookless Pete had talked about G.K. Chesterton and Father Brown books. Pete, if you see this, I'm going to tag you in this video. Hopefully you'll chime in if I was right, if you were the one that mentioned this in passing before or talked about it on your channel. But yeah, really cool score. And then I got the Pulps. And so I'm interested in maybe doing a flip through of this. And I don't know if folks would be interested in that. I've showed you a few of the inside kind of cover art of some of these amazing covers of pulpish magazines. But I wonder if you all would like a deeper kind of dive into these, kind of a flip through, because there's also amazing stories in here as well, some poems. There's also some black and white illustrations as well. So if you would like a more kind of long form video where I kind of just walk through this, flipping through pages, talk about some of the stories that are in here as well, I might add that to the list for a video down the road. I don't know when, but there's quite a few stories in here that I'm interested in reading. There is an Edgar Rice Burroughs, The Resurrection of Jimberjaw. There is a Robert E. Howard story. There's just many others in here as well that I'm interested in checking out. And so, if you would like me to do a flip through and talk about some of the stories and show you a little deeper dive of this Pulps magazine, let me know if there's some interest. Then I will put it on my to-do list and look at doing that later in the year. So let me know. But that is my book haul. Again, $40, 17 books, comes out to like $2.35 a book. Got a ton of Mac Bolan, which I'm great. I've got a huge stack now. Yeah, I've got several folks like that. I've got Star Trek books that I've acquired. I've got W.B. Griffin books I've acquired. I've got a lot of John D. MacDonald, even though I'm reading through Travis McGee, but I've got a lot of executioner novels, and I just started. I've got a lot of collected works of certain authors, even though I've just started my kind of introduction to them. But I keep collecting the books because I find them for so cheap. It's just, why not? But yeah, that's the haul. I hope you're doing well, and I will talk to you later.